Welcome back, guys, to another video. Guess what? LinkedIn has done it again. They have come out with what they call RPS Plus, claimed to be their AI-powered sourcing and BD development tools suite to help us recruiters and staffing agencies drive more efficiency and growth in 2025 moving forward. You love it, you hate it, doesn't matter. LinkedIn has us recruiters by the grasp. They have the monopoly. And the real question is, will this new product actually push the needle for us recruiters? Or is this going to be another one of those things where we have a lot of hopes and praises and they do not deliver? So in this video, guys, I had a chance to sit down with one of our account managers, Evan, who was kind enough to really give us a demo of this RPS Plus, because you can't really get that much information online from the website. And I did my best to be able to sit down with him, ask a lot of questions, and show him exactly what these new features are. I'm particularly very focused and interested mainly about their AI hiring search new capabilities and their new hiring assistant agentic feature as well. And so that's where most of the video is going to focus on. It has a lot of other similar features that the normal RPS or maybe even SalesNav Recruiter Lite has in more of a diluted fashion. But for this particular video, I'm going to be focusing on the new AI features that they're very, very proud about. I'm going to show you the video right now. I hope you enjoy, hope you take notes. And then afterwards, I'm going to be able to share with you my thoughts on whether or not this tool is worth it in my humble opinion. So hope you enjoy it and we'll see you soon. You know, if it makes sense for us.
Yes. So what we can do is, let me just give you a brief overview for like the problems that we're trying to solve for and what the genesis of the tool is. And then I can show you a quick example. We can always, have a return call next week or something where we get into a little bit more detail, but you can see a lot of it, kind of right at the surface. So just like wide view context, this is a new tool called RPS Plus that got rolled out beginning of October. It's been worked on for quite a while. And the thing that really gets me excited, my background is in recruiting as well before I came here to LinkedIn. This, I'd say, is really like the first tool that LinkedIn has built specifically for outside recruiters, outside recruiting agencies, versus kind of a bit more of like a one size fits all approach to recruiting on the platform.
Okay.
Biggest challenges that we hear all the time, working in this space, specifically in staffing, is time to candidates while maintaining quality. Like that is what we hear all the time, is pure just the amount of time it takes from when you first get on LinkedIn to put in a search to when your client is seeing a candidate. That's a big piece. Business development is also a big piece. How can we use Recruiter for business development purposes? There's all kinds of different ways that you can use RPS for business development, but they're not as direct as like these features are built out for business development. It's a bit more like reverse engineering. So there's some business development pieces attached in there. And then there is also an add-on called Hiring Assistant, which is an actual agentic tool that's completely automating the sourcing of candidates. So we'll kind of look at that in tandem. As far as the way it's being rolled out, in your first contract of RPS Plus, Hiring Assistant comes for free. So I'm going to talk about it today a bit interchangeably, because for the purpose of our conversation right now, it is kind of interchangeable because there's no premium that you're paying to get Hiring Assistant. With RPS Plus, it's only the upgrade to RPS Plus that we'd be talking about as far as the transfer goes. So let me pull up my tab itself and we can start to get into it. So the biggest changes here as far as the way the searching goes. So we'll start off with just RPS Plus and the new way. This is what we call advanced AI assisted search. Not sure how much of the AI assisted search you guys have used currently on RPS. I'd love to ask, have you messed around with the AI searching at all? And if so, what kind of have your thoughts been?
Yeah, I've used it a little bit, and to be honest with you, I haven't been too blown away by it. I think from my understanding, or at least, I haven't gone super crazy in depth on it, but essentially it was the piece that I used was like helping just add filters in to the search bar. So like I type in, plain text, I'm looking for XYZ, and it would kind of pop up some filters, which I thought was helpful, but I didn't feel like that was, for me at least, a huge like unlock, if that makes sense.
Completely agree. It's not really AI. There's nothing artificial about it, right? Like it's just trying to simulate the way a human would go in and create filters out of plain language, whether it's a job description or, like you said, maybe just typing in, hey, I'm looking for an X type of engineer in San Francisco with this skill set. It's plugging in skills, it's plugging in location, and maybe like a keyword or two. It's just trying to recreate what you could already do yourself. The AI assisted search within RPS Plus is actual AI in that it is creating a set of qualifications and it's using semantic search to understand those qualifications and present profiles based on meeting qualifications, not matching up one-to-one with keywords. You'll be able to see that pretty easily as we get into it, but that's really what makes it exciting. An example that I like to bring up is, like in pretty much every sales organization, they have some sort of like President's Club or High Earners Club. There's a million different ways you can phrase that. In the old version of search, if that was a requirement, for a sales job that they need to have hit some sort of like club or top 5% type thing, you would have to type in like President's Club and hope that they put on their profile President's Club in the exact way that you wrote it and have it match up one-to-one. In this case, it could pull from, like 35 different variations organizations of like President's Club, Top Earners Society, you know, like there's all these different ways that sales organizations categorize these things. And the tool is smart enough to identify that. Somebody saying they're from a Top Earners Club meets the qualifications here that's being laid out. That's how this new search will work. And then the way it presents candidates is a little bit different too. But at that point, I want to show you. So the easiest way to search using RPS Plus in the semantic search is through either a job description or a set of requirements. So I'd say as far as putting together a good search goes, the majority of the work will be on the front end on just making sure that the requirements that you gather from your client are accurate to the type of person that you're looking for, including any sort of nuance. You know, they need to have a background at startup companies or any little pieces like that. The tool will recognize and try to implement into your search. So that's really where your bread and butter will be as far as the search accuracy goes. I normally just search for like an account director position because that's where so many of my connections are. It's where my third degree connections reach. I'm happy to put together a search that you guys like. Ryan, do you want to give me an example of maybe just a job title that you find yourself searching for, you know, somewhat regularly?
Yeah, I'd say you can do a more recent search is like a head of marketing or a director of marketing, specifically in Austin, if we had to go more granular.
Yeah, no, that is perfect. Let's just pull up random JD here. Now, you guys would probably just be working off of like a set of notes or a Word document or something like that. You could just copy it directly in. For the sake of ease, I'm going to just copy and paste because the other way you can do it is just copy and paste like a link from a LinkedIn job description. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's going to pull it the same way and you'll see it when the actual results come up. But again, you're not going to see anything jammed into keywords. You're going to see it written out the same way that you'd see qualifications written out. Let's do it from the actual qualifications. I don't think it was recognizing all of the travel stuff.
Interesting. So you're just like copy and pasting essentially the JD into the search bar. Is that right?
Copying and pasting the JD into the search bar. Yep. The qualifications will be built out based on your JD. Okay, here we go. So when it pulls it up, now you're going to see the search results. It's not, and actually I think I didn't include the part with Austin. So like we'll add that in, but it's created out of that JD that we put in a set of qualifications that it's going to be evaluating profiles on and pulling profiles with. First thing that I'll mention, everything is editable. Nothing with this AI is set in stone. We can come in and edit. We can take things out. We can adjust them. If it pulls out as 3 to 5 years of experience and you're looking for more, like you're wanting to expand that 2 to 10, we can edit that. All of your available filters are still there as well. So like for this one, I didn't copy and paste the part that said Austin. So I'm probably just going to come in and add in Austin, Texas. Everything else with the search is still the same. We're now just adding in a new location. All of this is here. Let's pull these qualifications. Really quick before I go on, I do just want to show, if we go to the filters, it actually even shows its work here in the filters that it's putting things in qualifications versus, again, like you were describing, Ryan, previously, it probably would have been jamming things like brand marketing into skills and assessments or like these different kind of pieces, or like if they mention a technology, that always comes, like if Marketo is, you know, something that they're looking for, it's jamming that into skills. And it's just possibly cutting you off from people who are talking about using marketing technologies, but not saying directly the words like Marketo or something like that. Now, as far as evaluating candidates, want to pause really quick just for one of the findings that we had in the trial runs that we ran in the spring and fall while we were kind of still refining the tool. We saw that the recruiters that were using this tool on average were viewing 60% less profiles per search. And that is really where the actual value of the tool comes from, in our opinion, in my opinion personally, is for just like freeing up time for doing those actual revenue driving activities, talking with candidates, prepping them for interviews, maybe working with a client, putting together data to send over to clients, like the things that are actually driving your sales process versus sitting on LinkedIn and, you know, for an hour and a half trying to refine a search and moving keywords in and out. Now, are you viewing less profiles? Because all the results are still here. It's not like this search says, oh, it cuts it down to 10 people. And, you know, these are the only 10 that could possibly be a fit for the role. If there are people there that match the criteria, it'll show them, but it will try to rank people based on qualification relevance. So like if we click on Carolyn's profile, you'll see it shows you its work. It wants you to be able to see why it's pulling different people. Anything that's highlighted, it's going to show you its work for what qualifications it believes these highlights are meeting. So one is for identifying the right person for sure, but then the other is to recognize like, okay, is it too heavily weighting this qualification that I have in this job description that maybe isn't the most important thing for my client? And it's a way that you can kind of make adjustments to the search as you go, as well as you get started. At that point, I want to pause. I've been talking a ton. Can you guys tell me, like, what are your thoughts looking through this search? Does it seem like something that could be useful. I'm curious to just hear some feedback from you.
Real quick, if you ever thought about starting your own recruitment agency or you're a recruiter struggling to land clients, you'll want to check out our coaching and implementation program. Inside, I give you the exact scripts, the outreach templates, and acquisition systems I used to hit over $500,000 my first year, scale to over $100,000 months, and do over $5 million in placements on my own desk. Our students are already hitting $30,000, $50,000, even $80,000 per month or more, many of them doing it part-time. So if you want to learn the same playbook, the link's below. It's exactly what I use. Now back to the video. Yeah, I think on the first off, I'm always curious about, I understand like it saves you time, but then if it's not good with like nuances, or if it's too heavily biased, and then we have to kind of go back and add more time to kind of fix it up, are we still net positive here with time? Yeah. And also like it can only be as good on profiles that actually have content on them, right? Because a lot of like great professionals out there, they just add their title and they don't even fill out or even share the job description, like the achievements and the scope and stuff like that too. So like how accurate would it be with those guys?
That's an awesome question. So that's something that this is actually trying to cut through, because in the past, when you're searching purely based on keywords, that's a huge problem, right? If they're not inputting all of their skills, if they're not writing directly, I did this on this project, you could be missing those people, where this tool can try to read between the lines a couple of different ways. One way is that if you say like, this person needs to come from a cloud environment, say people don't write huge descriptions on their jobs, it'll recognize if somebody's working for a LinkedIn, a Pinterest, if they're working for like a large real estate company or something, those people, it will make an inference that say they work in an environment that has to be a cloud environment. That's not always going to be right. It's trying to read between the lines a little bit, but it is trying to kind of solve exactly what you're talking about there, Preston, which is like, how do you read a resume? Like that's what we're really trying to accomplish with the tool. Is like when Ryan, you're going through a search and you see a profile, even if they don't have something specifically written, you can see, well, that's the type of experience that my client wants to see, because they're coming from a modern technology environment, or the type of background that they're looking for, even if they're not saying the right thing on the resume. Now, the other place that it kind of addresses what you're talking about there, let me see if I can find an example here, Preston, is anyone who has put their resume into a job post. So anybody who's applied on LinkedIn, they're prompted to put their resume in to make the application easier. We don't make those public because people have to make their own resume public, but this tool will search through those resumes as well. So like, for example, here, this is actually highlighting stuff that was pulled from their resume that wasn't actually on LinkedIn, and it will source from those resumes as well. So that could be one way. Like if you look at somebody's plain LinkedIn profile, you might almost see nothing written, but this tool can pull from the resume themselves. Now, again, you're counting on them having to have applied for a role on LinkedIn. We can't pull it from like a random job site, but.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really, really cool. And I guess, ultimately it's just like, I'm curious how accurate it is, right? And there's really no way to tell unless we played around with it ourselves.
You're right. But the way to look at it is like, the power of LinkedIn is who's on LinkedIn. So it's not changing who's on LinkedIn. It's changing how and when we're finding certain people. And really the idea with the tool is like, lots of the people that you're going to see in the search, you're probably going to find in a similar keyword search to an extent, give or take a few people who don't put the right thing on their profile or something. But what the tool is trying to do is it's trying to push the highest or the most relevant people to the top of the search to avoid those situations where you're on like page 7 of a keyword search. Like these people could be in your keyword search, but you're maybe going through 160 profiles to get to them versus them being in the first 50. Again, like you're saying, you can't know it until, you're doing it and you're seeing it. That's definitely what it's trying to address. It's still sourcing from the same candidates of people who are out there before. It's just trying to avoid those situations where you are on page 6 of a search.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And just like any AI, so this is built on some OpenAI LLMs. Luckily, for us, we have Microsoft, so we're working on a lot of the LLMs that they've been building out. We've also been building out some ourselves here at LinkedIn. And then it is going to learn from your specific habits too. So the more that you use the search, the more it sees the types of people that you message, the more it's going to apply to your future searches, especially if you're working in, a similar space a lot with your recruiting. Really quick, I know we're running low on time, but I just want to show you the agentic feature really quickly here. So this is Hiring Assistant. This is the tool that's actually trying to completely automate the sourcing of candidates for you. So if we come into Hiring Assistant, we'll tell it we want to start hiring for a new role. I'm just going to paste the same job description in. As you can see, it's going to create this project for us automatically. And the AI is going to create a set of qualifications for us. It's going to ask us to evaluate them. Like obviously one of the things that we wanted to add in was Austin, Texas. So let's make sure we add that in. We'll apply that edit. We can go back and forth with the tool as much as we need. Okay, so it wants to suggest some qualifications. It's going to try to refine the search. It's kind of running searches on the back end to see what might be disqualifying too many people, what might be something that's hard to search on the tool. Okay, so So it's like suggesting some qualifications that might be useful for you for finding a director of marketing. Let's say you're good with where we are right now. Say no, thank you. Really quick, just functionally, the way it's going to work is it's going to want to present you a profile to review along with it and basically say, are you on the right path?
Seems to be a tough role.
I know it's not wanting to, it's like you need to use these qualifications to, okay, here we go. So let's review a candidate together. This is the first part of the hiring assistant search. It's going to present a candidate to you. We're going to be able to get feedback on that candidate, either say good fit, bad fit. And if it's a bad fit, we can give a reasoning why. And this is just to kick off the automated sourcing. So we basically only have to find one person that we find strong. So the hiring assistant is actually going to write out qualifications in the same way that like you would when you're sending it over to a client. It's really going to try to show its work here for the qualifications that this person's meeting. So just want to make sure we get through the functionality. Let's say looks like a good fit. If it's not a good fit, we click not a good fit. We can give some feedback to the tool. If we do think it's a good fit, we can say good fit, and then we can say, yes, start sourcing for me. This tool takes about, it says 15 minutes, somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. And then what will end up happening is if we go to projects, you'll see this is the one we just created. So it's going to start sourcing. This is one that I did just a little bit ago. You'll get an email, Ryan, to your inbox that says, hey, the marketing manager has 15 candidates sourced for you, ready to view. You come into the project, you'll see them sourced up here, active candidates. And I know we're right at time. Basically, it's running dozens of those semantic searches over and over on the back end with slight variations to try to find basically the 15 people that it identifies as the most closely qualified to your qualifications. It's also factoring in things like likelihood to respond, if they update their profile regularly, or if they've updated it recently. It could be an indication of them being in the job market. It'll also try to factor that in, and it's going to do that full write-up for every single person that it brings up for you. So the idea here is truly automating the sourcing of your candidate pool. You know, if you can find, even if 7 out of the 15 are what you're looking for, you message those 7, the tool will regenerate another 7 for you to try to fill in that pipeline until you have a solid base of candidates.
Yeah, so that was my question. So first of all, can we get more than 14 results, or is that kind of the average that a search finds?
It starts at 15. It is limited to 150 per month. So there are different settings that you can set up, like an overview here. You can have it source more. So you can customize all these settings. If we come into edit, you could basically create a project plan with Hiring Assistant that says, I want to make sure I have 20 people sourced at all times until I get, 10 responses. Like if you get 10 responses on a project, chances are at least a few of those people are going to be, moving forward if you thought they were good enough to message. But you can up these numbers. Like if you have a really important project that is ongoing that you're going to be filling for just, over and over, and you need to create a pipeline that's continuous, you can set this for, really as high as you want on each individual project.
So once a search happens, can you do another same search to pull up another 15 or not?
Oh, within the same project? Yes. So what you'll do is in active candidates, and again, this is a best practice for continuing to teach the tool. Say, Zachary isn't exactly what you're looking for, we'll archive him. You can give feedback if you want. You can say he didn't have enough experience with X, or you can just continue through. As soon as you archive, let's say we archive 8 of the 15, the tool will then source you 8 new candidates. So it's always going to keep you supplied with 15 or 14 or whatever your limit is set at until you reach the amount of in-mail accepts in that project that you set.
And to clarify really quickly on that 150 limit per month, like you can have a max of 150 sourced at a time, or is it like if say I keep doing batches of 15, I reach out, I hit my 150, like am I done for the month until it refreshes, or is it like at any given time? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. It would be done for the month until it resets. So you could have, you could split it up over 8 different projects where you initially source 15 and then source some more on a handful of them. You could do it on 4 projects, where you were sourcing, 25 at a time for each project and then trying to add more to that. So you can break it up how you'd like, but it is 150 for the month and then it resets the next month. Does not affect your in-mails or anything like that at all. Like this tool comes with more, it comes with 140 in-mails by itself. So it doesn't affect, like you can still continue semantic search. You can do your keyword search. All the other recruiting is capable, or you're still capable of, and everything added by the hiring assistant will stay in here. Like you won't lose your pipeline in these projects if you hit your 150 for the month. It just won't continue sourcing.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
okay,
can
that's
you show one more time? So if I wanted to see like another 4 extra candidates or something, or another 10 extra candidates in the same project, how would I do that? I would have to kind of identify a profile and archive them, so then it opens up a spot for someone else. Is that how it works?
Exactly, yes. Like you could come in here, you could even select all 12. Say it just like the search wasn't as refined as you wanted it to be. You could archive all 12. The hiring assistant here in the bottom left too is specific to each project. So when you're in a project, we are going to be talking to this tool for this project. So you can make adjustments to, the hiring requirements, or if you wanted to add in a couple of requirements because you heard from your client and they said, actually, actually, you know what, we do need this person to have experience with like these new technologies or something, you can always add that in, archive these candidates, and it'll give you a fresh batch of whatever the number is in your project plan. So if it's 15, it'll give you 15. If it's 10, it'll give you 10.
Gotcha. Understood. Cool. Yeah. Anything else you want to show us?
The only other thing that I'll mention, and I'm not sure exactly how you guys have your workflow split up, but I did just want to show you generally what it looks like to do the business development searching. So in any search here at the top, you can flip over into business development mode. A few things that I just wanted to point out here, and there we have a ton of qualifications in there. Usually we just probably be going off like job titles and locations for the business development tool, but we do have an actively hiring feature that comes from either people self-selecting into actively hiring, or if they themselves are a poster of a job on LinkedIn, they'll show up here. So if you're searching for managing directors or, director of technology or wherever you kind of identify your hiring comes from at certain organizations, you can search for those job titles. You can actually see like the roles that they currently have open. And then as far as sending messages to these people, our AI assisted messaging can actually do business development specific messaging. So up here at the top, you can adjust this for how you'd like to message. Obviously, since we're in business development mode, it's assuming BD, and it's basically helping us set up a message where we're like, often what it suggests, I mean, it's optional, but what it suggests is, blind sending a candidate sort of as like is this the type of person that you like to place? These are the types of people we place all the time, like whatever your message would like to be. So that's really quick. I just wanted to throw out that this is the first time we've ever had a business development specific tool. Again, I'm not exactly sure like how much business development Ryan would be doing within the seat, but we can always return, go through some more best practices here. Yeah.
No, this has been great, Evan. I mean, is there any way we can kind of have a trial or test this out for a little bit?
Unfortunately not. So, and that's just been a bandwidth thing on the LinkedIn end. We've had so many folks come in to add it on. Part of the challenge technically in going back and forth is that it's on a whole new dashboard from RPS. So it takes a migration to RPS Plus to get it activated. So just the way that they've rolled it out commercially, they're not running any pilots on it.
Okay, cool. Any other questions, Ryan?
I'm all good. This was super helpful.
I ran a webinar a few weeks ago where I just did a little bit more of a clean demo where I didn't kind of fly through it as much and touched on a couple of the features in a little bit more depth. I'll send that over as well, so you can take a look at both of those. Really quick, Preston, the way that it would work is upgrades happen. It would be a swap upgrade is what we call it. Upgrading to RPS Plus, it takes place at the a billing cycle changeover. So your next billing cycle, I believe, is like November 26th. So it would either happen at November 26th, or then we'd be looking at 3 months from that time. But I can also get it priced out and send over what, the price difference would be between the two.
Sounds good, Evan. Appreciate it.
Right.
Thank you for moving
Thank you so much.
No problem. Yeah, thank you guys. Ryan, it was great to meet you, and Preston, good to see you.
Well.
I hope you both have a great rest of your week.
You too, Evan.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. What do you think? Is this a tool that you're going to incorporate into your business? Yay or nay? Comment down below. Would love to hear your thoughts. Just to end this video, I would love to kind of share with you my thoughts in terms of the 3 things I liked about it, and also the 3 things I didn't like too much about it. So in terms of number 1, in terms of like my likes, I really like the fact that you're able to just really get a typical job description from your client or any other company and be able to feed it into the AI. And from there, it's able to kind of go through a very simple, intuitive calibration feature and show you a list of candidates. I think that process is like super, super cool. And I only expect that to get better and smoother and stronger over time. The second thing I like about it is I like how when you do a search, it doesn't just search the candidates that are currently in LinkedIn's database. It also searched for resumes from candidates who applied for jobs via LinkedIn through that resume database feature as well, which is really, really cool because a lot of these resumes may or may not actually be on LinkedIn because a lot of people, variety of reasons, choose not to be on LinkedIn or choose to privatize or maybe shadow their account because they don't want to be reached out or they don't want anyone to notice. For any other reason, I think that's really cool because the regular RPS features, the Sales Nav, Recruiter Lite, you're not able to access that resume database through LinkedIn. So I think the fact that the AI is able to do that makes it a lot more robust and more of a value add in terms of a possible feature and tool for us recruiters to use. The third thing that I like is that, like with any AI, as I expect, it learns and it gets better over time as it studies the way that you search, as it studies the way that you put in the criteria and you prompt it. So from my demo, it seems pretty spot on and pretty accurate enough from what Evan has done. And I would expect that if he did a bunch more iterations, it would just get stronger and stronger and more accurate. So again, it's only the worst today and it'll only get better moving forward tomorrow. So I think that's a cool feature of any AI, but particularly obviously as expected, this has it here. In terms of the things I do not like about it, number 1, you can only really get 150 results per month, which to me is pretty shocking because I would reach out to, on any given day per position, 150 people per role. And so I can kind of get through that cap in my first hour or 2 using it. What am I going to do for the rest of the month? Perhaps they offer flexibility. Perhaps they offer an opportunity for me to buy more credits a la carte in a very expensive way like they do InMails. I don't know, but I was extremely disappointed about that. Again, the way that I recruit is not how everyone recruits. I'm a high volume recruiter, so it typically means I work with multiple clients, multiple positions, and I have a lot of candidates in process at a given time. I need a lot more than 150 searches per month. I mean, I expect the same equivalent even to people on my team per day like I do. So to me, I think that's a huge disappointment. That would throttle us drastically and would not allow us to go at our normal cadence, which is, I think, one big X for me. The second thing I don't like about it is that they're not really that transparent about their pricing. You have to kind of go through this whole talk to someone on the phone, go through an entire demo, only to find out that it's an upgradable like feature based off of current RPSs. And still, after talking to them, they weren't transparent about the prices as well. So not a huge fan about that. I would honestly just prefer to see the pricing transparently on the site where you can just choose and deduce what tier, what feature you want and then pay for it. That's just my humble opinion. Again, I understand why they have that flow, but it just felt like I had to go through a lot of steps and a lot of unnecessary action to kind of get to that point. And just to kind of piggyback off that, to add like a third point, even if I wanted to try the RPS Pro, there's no way for me to really just like try it. There's no free trial, there's no 7-day trial, there's no 30-day trial. I just have to kind of really believe what I'm seeing and believe the words of the AM in hopes that it does exactly what they tell me that it's doing. But most importantly, even if I wanted to jump forward and actually get RPS Pro, I couldn't do it until the next pay period. And depending on when you're talking to the AM, that could be tomorrow, or that could be days, weeks, or even longer. And I think that is a huge red flag. And I'm hoping that's something that they would change, because to me, that makes literally no sense. And I think that would just be a huge blocker of turning off a lot of customers and pushing them away to other competitors that might be better or offering something equivalent. So not sure why. Even if I were to make the decision today, my next pay period with LinkedIn is next quarter. So what does that mean? They would just force me to wait till at least another month before I can start using their product when I want to use it now. Usually for us recruiters, if we want to try something, it's usually yesterday, not let's wait a month or 2 or 3. So not really happy about that. Not really happy about the throttling or like the small number of caps of searches per month. I hope and expect that these things will change over time. Who knows? But overall, while I do see a lot of great useful features in RPS Pro, will my team jump on it right now? Probably not. We continue to watch it closely moving forward as it continues to mature and develop over time and continues to get better product market fit and increasing the robustness of the product. Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn. I love their products. It's something that we have to use and have to be okay with as a brand that we have to just be aligned with and work closely with as a recruiter and recruiting professional. And so I'm really, really happy to see that they're making an intentional step in embracing the world of AI. But could I have hoped for the searches to be a little bit higher? Could I have hoped a little bit more transparency on the pricing, or maybe even a free trial, just to kind of really have confidence that this is the right tool for me? Yes, but will it be the end of the world? No. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you want us to test out other products or other brands, comment down below. But would love to hear, for those of you who are using it, what your experience is, and please continue to share your thoughts with us. But hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.